12. Oops, that's our C value. I wrote what I said. And then we're looking for numbers that add to negative 13. So negative 1 and negative 12. So we leave off this A coefficient. And so it's really kind of like what we were just doing, A minus 1 times A minus 12. But now, or X minus 1 times X minus 12. But now we divide by that A value. And then we simplify those fractions. So let's see here. Off to the side, I'm kind of thinking, well, negative 1/6 simplified, or just maybe we'll just bring down a minus sign. 1/6 simplified is 1/6. And 12 over 6 is the same as 2 over 1. So whatever our new simplified denominator is, we bring out actually as a multiplier in front of the x. So my new simplified denominator, well, it's not new, but my most simplified denominator is still 6. So I bring that out. And then it is gone from the denominator. Whereas here, my new simplified denominator is 1. So I bring a 1 in front of the x, which I don't actually write down. And then I get minus 2. And again, if you FOIL that, multiplying the constants together, you get positive 2, which is awesome. Here you get negative 1x, and here you get negative 12x, which is negative 13x. And multiply your leading terms in each of the factors together, you get 6x squared. So it works. It makes the thing, it's kind of a fun, nifty process. Here, multiply your A and your C value together, you get 45, you get negative 14. So it has to be positive values or both negative values. In this case, it's going to be both negatives. So, negative 9 and negative 5. So, x minus 9 over 15 times x minus 5 over 15. Simplify it. This is going to become 3/5. Should write this bigger so I have a little more space. This is going to become 1/3. So the 5 goes in front of the x, 5x minus, and then here we would have a 3, and then the 3 goes in front of the x, so 3x minus 1. I took the new simplified fraction, took the denominator, put it in front of the x, kept the numerator, and brought it down in the simplified fraction. When you check that, boom, it works out at its sweetness. Numbers that multiply to positive 6 and add to 5. 2 and 3, right? So we get x plus 2 over 2 times x plus 3 over 2. If you're asking where'd that 2 come from, again, I'm putting the denominator, the denominator becomes the a value. So I took that a and slid it down to the bottom. And as I try to simplify these, I get 1 over 1. As I try to simplify this, I don't get anything new. That is the most simplified version. So take your denominator, put it in front of the x, which I'm not going to actually write down. Take your new numerator, bring that down. Take your new or simplified denominator, put it in front of the x, bring down your new simplified numerator. And there we go. Check it. It works. That is sweet. Next one, looking for numbers that multiply to, watch your signs here. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6 and adds to negative 1. Gives you negative 3 and positive 2. So we're going to get x minus 3, but then I will divide that by the a value times x plus 2, but I'm going to divide that by the a value. Simplify these fractions, we get 1 over 1 and 2/3. Take each of these simplified denominators and put it in front of the x term. So I'm taking this bottom 1 and putting it in front of the x, but I don't need to write that down. Take your new numerator, leave that after the x. Take your new or simplified denominator, put it in front of the x, so that's a 3. Bring down your simplified denominator, which is a 2. Check it, it works. Numbers that multiply to 4 and add to 4. That's going to be 2 and 2. So we get x plus 2 times x plus 2. Then divide by your a value. So that's 2/4 and 2/4, which each simplify to 1/2 and 1/2. So we peel our new simplified denominator in front of the x, bring down our simplified numerator, peel our simplified denominator in front of the x, bring down our new simplified numerator, and there we go. And hey, notice our two binomial factors are exactly the same. So that's the same as saying 2x plus 1 quantity squared. Which really leads us to a discussion that also is a shortcut. But again, you don't have to use the shortcuts if you don't see it or you don't want to, as long as you write your factored form as simplified as possible. Here, let's look for numbers that multiply to 30 and add to 17. It's a positive 30, so I'm thinking it adds to a positive, so I'm thinking both positive. So let's do x plus 15. Then I'm going to write that divided by 6 right away, our leading coefficient, and then x plus 2 divided by 6. Simplify these fractions and we get 5/3 and 1/3. So bring your simplified coefficient in front of the x, bring down your new numerator, bring your simplified denominator in front of the x, bring down the new simplified numerator. Check it. For the first thing I'm checking is actually, I go backwards when I check. I want to try to get 5 when I multiply the last term together, and then that's cool, so that works out, but we're not done. We get 15x and, and 3x. So it actually is not good. Where did I goof up? Oh, so yeah, I goofed up on this one. Good thing I was checking it. Goof up. $15 divided by 3 is 5. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So this should be a 2. Let me erase that. Let me highlight that. I don't know, in case, I don't know, that helps you as if you're fast forwarding through things. So when I was checking my x's, I got 15x and 3x, which is 18x. Well, now I get 15x and 2x, which is 17x. So that's good. And now my x squared term is also going to work out because 2x times 3x is 6x squared. If I would have kept my mistake, I would have also had an error there. It would have been 9x squared. Alrighty. If you want to keep using that method, well, actually, in this one, you'd use the shortcut method that we were doing on the first half, but you could rewrite this as x squared plus 0x minus 64. Otherwise, you can realize that x squared gives you x squared, and 8 squared gives you 64. So then we can go x plus 8 times x minus 8. Otherwise, again, use your diamond method or that x that we draw. Here I'm thinking to myself, hey, 3x squared is 9x squared, and the square root of, or 2 squared is 4, or the square root of 4 is 2. So I can rewrite this as x plus 2 times x, 3x minus 2. When you FOIL it together, you get the same thing.